have a healthy Marshawn Rice, what can he mean for this offense if he's at 100%?
Marshawn Rice has been a blessing through spring ball and so far through camp. He has shown leadership qualities that I didn't know at what point it would actually present itself within the group, but our guys all look up to him. Obviously, with David Bell being out there, they look up to him as well. But you know, that young man has morphed himself into a leader, and he's learned how to practice the right way. And so I'm very, very excited about what he can potentially do.
How did he deal just with not playing, the frustrating part of being injured all the time, and working to get on the field and do something?
He learned the game. He spent time immersing himself in not only the playbook, so being one of the most knowledgeable people, period, in the playbook. He immersed himself in defenses and understanding. When we're in the meeting room, Marshawn Rice, he signals me everything that is supposed to happen. Like, that's how close, how knowledgeable he is about everything. He doesn't even have to verbalize it to this point now. So there's not enough I can say about him right now. He took it hard. It was very difficult for him through injury, but he constantly wanted to make something better of himself. Some of the young receivers that are here, freshmen, they recall their first time, guys who enrolled early, first meetings, and of course I'm ripping Marshawn, and there was a joke they said, you know, now Marshawn like your best friend, and I'll tell you what, he has really morphed himself into that.
To talk about the courtship of, I guess, Brock Thompson and the genesis of it, I think you were obviously involved, and then what he's brought to your room.
Well, initially, recruitment of Brock out of high school, and his father, just a great guy, just an awesome person to be around. And Brock, you know, I loved being around Brock. He had a great attitude, he had a great competitive spirit to himself. I mean, very similar in ways that I talk about David Bell as far as his competitive nature. And, you know, eventually I caught wind that, hey, he's going in the portal. Oh, really? Okay. So then, of course, at that point, I'm trying to start to prepare myself and hoping that, hey, if he goes in the portal, coach, can we go ahead and grab him? Well, of course, he goes in the portal, and literally, I call him, and pretty much this is where he wanted to be. He was hoping that he was hoping that I was going to make that phone call to him, and once I made it, he pretty much told me, I'm coming. If you got a spot, coach, I'm coming. I'm like, yeah, and we got a spot for you, buddy. I mean, so, you know, his father had reached out to me a number of times when he was at when he was going through prep school and stuff like that. So he stayed in contact while he was at prep school and whatnot. They just kind of knew right away that this was kind of where he wanted to be. He wanted to play with David. Them two competing against each other in high school has been great. Brock has turned into, it's crazy for me to say this, but Brock has turned into a leader within my group right away. He's a dog. I mean, that kid is a dog. His mentality, how he attacks every day, and he's that verbal dog. He's going to tell you, and he's going to talk to the other guys in the room, and for whatever reason, they listen.
Which is good news for you.
Absolutely, absolutely. I got a lot of, you know, we're actually a lot younger in the room than most people really know, and for me to have guys like Anthrop, which he's been here for 27 years, and then you got David Bell, and you got Brock, and you got Marshawn Rice, and then you even got Milton Wright thrown in there. I mean, you know, those guys, you know, have, for whatever reason, galvanized the group and got us all going and moving in the right direction.
You know, everybody thinks TJ Sheffield is going to break out this year. Give us an assessment of TJ so far in camp, and maybe the type of role you envision for him this fall.
You know, TJ had a wonderful spring ball, and he was one of our most dynamic players. I mean, one of our go-to guys in spring, you know, him and Marshawn. And, of course, coming into this camp, you know, we're going to increase your role. We're going to increase your role. We're going to make sure that you get more opportunities and whatnot. And to this point, he's really kind of stayed under the radar a little bit through camp. And I want him to read this and know he stayed under the radar so far during this camp. So he needs to pick it up, just so we're clear on that. okay? There's a lot of bodies out there. And what we're doing now with the offense, we're moving David in different positions. We're moving Milton in different spots. They're in the slot, they're on the outside, they're flipping sides and all that stuff. We're trying to make it so that these guys aren't just being in a stagnant spot and giving them chances to be all over the place. So, you know, with the increased knowledge of our players, guess what? The increased ability for us to make additional adjustments throughout our game plan. So, again, if you can't make that play, then I got a guy who's been the Big Ten receiver, one of the top guys to put you in that spot. So TJ knows and understands that. And I'm not saying that he's doing bad by any stretch of the imagination. The plays that he's making his plays. I'm just, the bar has been raised. And you got to, you know, the cost of admission to get into the game for this team has certainly gone up at the receiver position.
You mentioned just moving people around in this offense now this year, and obviously you have so many different receivers that can contribute. How is the offense kind of managing all the guys that can be moved around into different spots?
Well, first thing, we're just really trying to keep everybody as healthy as possible. We'd like to get to the first game with all the bullets, as we kind of say. You're gonna have all the bullets in the holster so we can shoot them all off when the game comes around. So we're really trying to manage their practice loads so that way, hey, we know exactly what routes they're running. So we're keeping a tally of the routes that they're running through practice so that we can continuously push them to run every other route within the playbook, so then we can get it on film as well so they can see how they can adjust those types of things. So really, we're doing a lot of load management with these guys during this camp. And I know it sounds nuts with that many wideouts, but at the end of the day, nobody cares about what we did at practice. You guys want to see what we do at the games.
Do you envision that kind of being difficult as you move to game time with just so many different players managing, you know, who's going to run what plays on game days? Do you envision that kind of being tough at all this year?
Well, we certainly keep a tally of targets, catches, drops, missed assignments, loafs, interceptions while the ball is being targeted to you, fumbles. My favorite one, softs. Okay, if you have a soft moment in practice, okay, we keep tally of those throughout the practice. And, you know, because of that, I'm able to literally every day rank them as receivers of where they're at for that particular practice. And then we've been through 4 practices. Tomorrow we don't have one. Tomorrow I'll give them, hey, this is a total of everything that you've done so far during camp. So that kind of gives me a good barometer of where they're all at. But also, you know, there are a few little other pieces that kind of go into making that decision. At the end of the day, all right, they all know that we play for each other. We talk about it in our room, EBE all the time. EBE, everybody eats. So when one guy eats, we all eat, okay? When one guy makes a play, we all make a play.
Define a soft moment.
Such as, if you get tackled and there's no reason why you should have gotten tackled, that is a soft moment. If you're supposed to go block somebody and you get back on your heels, that is a soft moment. So those types of moments, I mean, we're very, we don't want to bring those. Freddie Soft is a little guy who sits on your shoulder and he tells you, hey, don't go make that hit. Hey, don't run hard. Hey, get tired, okay? And I tell him all the time, I want Freddie Soft talking to y'all.
You haven't had many of those.
Are you on the other shoulder saying go?
Correct, go hard. Correct, go hard. Make that hit, make that play. So, no doubt, I try to tell them all the time, man, you got to freaking get rid of Freddie Soft.